We'll call the meeting to order.
Elsa,
Welcome.
Sign says Amy.
Welcome to the Finance Committee for Stratford Board of Education. It's Monday, November 22nd, and we have a quorum, and it's 6:30, so we're going to start. The first thing we're going to start with is an acceptance of the minutes.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much, Bob, David, and Janice. Any discussion about the minutes? Anybody have any questions, concerns, issues? Seeing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And no abstentions? Okay, moving right along. Budget transfers, there are none. Is that correct, Pam?
That is correct.
Okay,
Yes.
just making sure it's still correct. Okay, and then financial reports, so you're up.
Okay.
You have to pull your microphone forward, though.
Sure. Can everybody hear me okay?
Not really, but
Come see, come sass, is it for?
I got it. Thank you. Okay, in your packets, you should have received the financial status report, which, as you'll recall, breaks down each of the areas of the budget by object, and I did make some notations to help guide you along. Primarily, you will recall that you approved a transfer last month for salaries, and that was based on our projected year-end balance due to unfilled positions and leaves. So we are currently projecting a balance for salaries of $462,392 as reflected on the report. Of course, that is kind of a moving target. We're still having some problems filling some positions. As a result, as I mentioned previously, our substitute account could need some of this funding to be moved later in the year. Currently with benefits, we are watching this account because obviously as new positions come on, it will have more of an impact, but we appear to be tracking on budget. Professional services, you will see a deficit in that account, primarily currently as a result of clinical costs. That account is used for servicing our special education students who are in district. Our property services, it is early in the fiscal year for utility projections, but from what I can see so far, we seem okay. But obviously, as we go through the winter months, we'll be watching those accounts very carefully. The 500 other purchase services accounts, as you'll recall, those accounts include our tuition, both regular education and special education. As we've shared with you previously, we have had a significant increase in the number of outplaced students as well as special ed students in district requiring services. Our projection as of October 31st is reflective of a deficit in those accounts of slightly over $1 million. I will tell you when you see the report next month, it will be significantly more. Again, this is an area that is constantly changing, and it could end up getting a little worse, and it could even end up getting a little better as the year progresses. So obviously, we'll make certain that we share that information with you each and every month. Our supplies and materials, we do have a spending freeze currently in place, and that's primarily the accounts that are discretionary that we are trying to slow the schools in spending right now. So we are doing everything possible to accommodate requests. For example, if they're asking for $1,000 in supplies and I look at what they're asking for, I will ask, do you think maybe we can just order half of it for now and then reevaluate it? And most of the time we can, sometimes we can't, and we do work with them to get what is needed in our classrooms. And then our 700 and 800 accounts, equipment, dues, and fees are all budgeting on track. So currently, we are reflecting a deficit for the year end of slightly under $900,000. Not good news, but we are taking some steps to mitigate it, and we are watching it very carefully. So usually bad news is a little bit easier when we start early and we keep tracking it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
does anyone have any questions? No?
No, it's
Okay.
not.
All right, thank you, Ms. Mancini.
Thank you.
Grants update.
Good evening. It's been a very busy few weeks in the grants office. We have added 8 grants to the report. They are Title III has come in, 2 21st Century Learning Center renewals have come in. That's 1 for the after-school programs at the middle schools and 1 for the after-school programs at the high schools. The state bilingual grant came in, the School Readiness Quality Enhancement Grant, the FRC grant, or Family Resource Center, which is what supplies most of the funding for Stratford Parents Place, the Parents Trust Fund grant, which will support our Parents C program at Stratford Parents Place, and of course the big one, ARP-ESSER, came in October, and so it's on the report now. You can keep track of that. In addition to those 8 new grants, we have 3 that have been submitted and are pending. They are Title I and Title II, which go in as 2 different grants, but it goes in one application. It's called the Consolidated Grant. We have the Perkins Grant submitted and pending, and we have Title IV submitted and pending. We also have 2 grants that came in recently that were both submitted and approved in the time frame of this report. One was the ESSER II Special Education Recovery Grant. These are funds to support the special education program. It's ESSER II money as far as it being the federal source, but this is in addition to our previous ESSER II grant. And just today, the ARP, which is the 3rd ESSER, ARP-ESSER, the ARP IDEA grant came in, which also supports the special education program. So we'll keep some of that coming in, and like I said, that was just approved today, and that is in addition to our ARP-ESSER money. That's not anything that's being carved out. And finally, we have 2 grants in progress. There's ESSER II money to go to the FRC, the Stratford Parents Place, to serve more families. We're working on that grant. And there's ARP-ESSER money for homeless students and their families, and we're working on that grant. Those are due in mid-December.
Beautiful.
So happy to take any questions. That's a lot to go through.
Thank you.
David?
Yes, Madam Chair. The question I have on the ESSER 2 and the ESSER 3, is there a date you need to encumber this by? Is it a June 30 date, or does that go past the school year?
So if we're talking about the main grants for ESSER 2, the money has to be encumbered by September 30th of 2023. And for the ARP-ESSER, or ESSER 3 as it's sometimes called, that's September of 2024.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, the reason I was asking that question, because I saw that on the report, is if that's not encumbered by the board, I guess this is more of a Pam question, how do we keep that in the lockbox, for lack of better terminology?
We would be unable to. It's federal guidelines and state guidelines on those grants that require us to spend them down, and we can only draw down what we spend on those grants.
Let me rephrase the question, because I didn't phrase it correctly. If we don't spend the money in this fiscal year, our town fiscal year, not 6/30, how does that work?
Oh, that will just carry over.
It can carry over.
We have the 3-year period. Again, we will just draw down as much as we spend from the state. So we have until September of 2023, September of 2024 consecutive
Fair.
years.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Okay.
Okay. Heather, you're up.
There's really not much for me to add.
Oh, turn your mic on. Oh, there you
I think I just need to speak louder.
go. Or pull it closer. Good, you go.
There's not much for me to add, just, you see the report that I gave you and Pam already spoke to it, and at this point I can anticipate that next month it'll be a little bit worse, because as you know, this is for October, so I'm already aware of some additional placements and things that'll impact these costs, that we are working hard to make sure we are meeting the needs of all of our students with exceptionalities, and that each of those services are mandated by their IEPs, and we as a district are doing everything we can to make sure we are being fiscally responsible and meeting the needs of our students.
Thank you. Any questions for Heather?
I do.
Any?
Yeah. Heather,
The special ed funds, are they also used with gifted children? Are we doing that anymore? Are we identifying gifted?
So our district does identify gifted, and there is a program in place that services those. We don't use our special education funds specifically for that.
Okay, thank you.
Ben?
Is there an increase in the number of students from last month to this month? I asked if there was an increase in the number of special ed students from last month to this month.
Not significant, but yes, 5 more.
And were any of those outplaced?
2.
And what was the increased cost as a result of the outplacements?
Pam, do you have that?
No, but aren't those, they're not reflective in October, they're November. So they will be on your next month's report, but I'm estimating probably about $180,000.
That's, I'm going to be very clear on this. That's for the year, not for the month.
Correct. Important distinction.
20 per child, I'm sorry, 180 per child? 180 per child?
No, total.
From Barron.
Go ahead, Amy.
Amy? Amy's on computer.
I'm not sure if this has been asked, I can't remember very well, but Heather, you presented in our 560 that we've had 4 students return. Is this something that you see as a future trend, or is this just an anomaly of our situation?
So every year, Amy, at least the years I've been here and the years before, there are students that return when it is appropriate and they are ready and there is, programming in place for a student. They can return to our district and be successful. The idea of an outplacement isn't to permanently keep a child outplaced. It's to provide them with strategies that they would need in order to come back and be successful within the public school environment.
That's great. Thank you so much, Heather.
Yep.
Anybody else? Okay, thank you, Heather. Moving on to food service report.
And if I may, before I get into food service, just comment that Heather and I work very closely together on all of this. We are looking at all of this basically on a daily basis. And some of the newer grants we are hopeful will slightly offset some of the additional costs that we are looking at as well. So we will continue to delve into all of that and try to maximize the grants and mitigate the costs associated to the general operating as much as possible.
Andrea?
Is there any update on our ability to access the Educational Reserve Fund at the town level?
Actually, we are having conversations currently with the mayor's office, and we're cautiously optimistic that there might be some movement, but I will tell you at the very least, they truly understand what we're facing at the moment. Okay, food service, if no other questions. I hope this is the last month you're going to see this really terrible number as our ending fund balance, because in September we did make the large payment to Sodexo. And I will be meeting with both Karen Rosa and Alan Dean next month to review our first quarter of the school year, and things are going pretty well with food service. They are having a lot of sales, and they are doing a fabulous job dealing with the uncertainty of what's delivered each and every week and trying to adhere to their menus but adjust when they need to as well. So we are doing a pretty good job there.
Any questions? Janice?
Pam, when does the current contract end? I know there was an extension, allowed by the state. Can you hear me?
Here we go. So I know there was an extension allowed by the state on the contract. Where are we with that?
Sure. The state had promised us their annual training whenever you have to do the 5-year RFP process back in October. I I reached out last week and was told that they were going to schedule it for December. Now, next week is December, so I'm hoping to get notifications soon. I am working with the consultant that I mentioned last year, and we are at least starting to frame out our timeline for the process because it's a very comprehensive and very involved process. She too will be involved in the training, and I don't believe the state is going to offer another opportunity for a waiver. I simply don't know because it does go through the USDA, and I think some of the concerns statewide is that as we work through the process, we have to provide in our RFP information based on our sales, our student enrollment, and as you know, the last 2 years have really been skewed. So I think there's a lot of concern about what numbers our district's going to show to get a true and accurate picture so that an RFP can be accurate. So the state is working through that, and I will keep you informed as that process moves forward.
Great, thank you.
Great. Any other questions for Pam? Andrea?
Pam, I've asked this before, but I still don't understand. How do we end up with a monthly loss?
That is solely due to timing of getting we submit claims every month to the state and actually getting our reimbursements. They're usually end monthly, but at the beginning of the school year, there's definitely a delay. And also you see that towards the end of the school year when we don't get our June until August. So that should be taken care of next month.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay. Moving on, enrollment status.
I believe you have the reports in your packets.
I didn't get on.
You do not? Okay.
We did not. Sorry.
I guess that was an oversight on our part. I can just make sure you get them tomorrow, but I will tell you that it hasn't changed significantly, but our total is approximately, doing the math kind of quickly, we're up by about 100 and almost 30 students over last year. And I will also share with all of you that we are closely monitoring our elementary class sizes. We, every single day, seem to be challenged with placing new students moving in. Stratford seems to be a very popular school district at the moment, so we are watching the class sizes.
All right. Yes, Ben?
Yeah. The difference between the enrollment numbers you were just using and the October 1 population that we submitted to the state?
I honestly don't have October in front of me to compare. I will tell you that the November 1 total is 6,783 for in-district, with our total enrollment at 7,464.
I'd like to make a suggestion, might be helpful for the next committee coming in, that the monthly enrollment numbers always show the October 1 population.
Excellent idea. I will ask that to be added.
Does anyone have any other questions for Pam regarding enrollment? No? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to other business. Any old business? Seeing none, okay. New business? Ben?
Not necessarily new business, but I just wanted to say thank you to the members who are leaving us. We spent 2 years together. Actually, we've all spent 4 years together through some difficult times, unprecedented times. And I think this board, and I have the dubious distinction at times of watching other towns and the politics that invade their Board of Education, and can tell you that does not exist in this town, or at least not nearly to the level it exists in many other towns. And that's a testament to the 7 members of this board, and I think to our population who understand the role of this board. So to the members who are leaving, thank you very much for allowing me and Bob the opportunity to serve with you and work with you. To the members who are staying, good luck, and to the members who are coming in, Godspeed. It's not as easy as it looks sometimes, but it is never dull. And if I have the opportunity to continue to serve, it would be my pleasure. But I wanted to say thank you to the members who are leaving. I know Dr. Robinson isn't with us on the board anymore. She's enjoying her retirement, but also thanks to Dr. Robinson for the work that she and her staff did over the last number of years that we've all been together. I think our board is in good shape, and our school district has challenges, but we meet them, and that's a testament to the 7 members who were elected, and to Dr. Sunday and his staff, and to Dr. Robinson and her staff. So thank you all very much.
Thank you, Ben.
Well said, Ben, thank you.
Bob?
Yes, and I like to say, as my children would say to me, ditto, on what Ben just said. In the interest of time, I'd like to thank everybody for allowing me to serve on this finance committee for the past way too many years, and I am with Ben, so thank you very much. But Ben eloquently took the words out of my mouth, so thank you.
And thank you guys as well for serving. Your help has been incredibly valuable. Thank you. Does anybody else have anything to add? I'll take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you very much, and thank you, Pam, Dr. Sunday, and Kevin,